So one of the things we do, one of the practices we do, which help cultivate our contact with the Absolute, is a practice I call innate goodness. And this is a practice that I've slightly innovated from the traditional metta practice. What's metta is usually translated as loving kindness. I prefer the unborn or unconditioned love as a translation. But this innate goodness practice is touching into a quality of the Absolute, which is goodness. And I use the term innate simply to mean it's unconditioned, it's always here. Any quality or aspect of the Absolute is always present because it isn't conditioned. It has no birth or death, so it's always present. So what we're keying into, what we're touching into, is a goodness that's already present. We can recognize this goodness often in seeing babies, whether animal or human. They can have a goodness to them that isn't dependent on behavior. They're not trying to impress us, or they're not trying to get us to like them. They're simply being, and that being resonates with a goodness. For others, nature itself really conveys this goodness. So we'll do a practice now, innate goodness practice. Just want to say one last thing about it, that some of the benefits of innate goodness practice is it does put us in touch with an unconditioned quality of the Absolute. It also fills in with goodness that area in us that we feel a deficiency, we feel a less than, a sense of being worthless or valueless in some way. So it counteracts that assumption we carry. And part of that identity of being valueless or worthless is really supported by our negative self-talk and negative self-judgments. So the function of the superego, the inner critic, criticizing you when you take action that it deems to be a mistake. So the innate goodness helps soften the superego. It helps fill in the sense of lack of value. And it puts us in contact with a quality of the Absolute, which is all to the good. So the way we practice this is I'll guide you through a meditation and make contact in the heart area, and we'll open to qualities of innate goodness together. So go ahead and settle yourself into your meditation posture. Start with some centering and relaxing belly breaths. Really fill your lungs and abdomen all the way down to genitals with air, and then release as much of that air as is possible. Letting go of any mentalizing that's taking you away from this moment. Just let yourself fully land in this breath. Feel your contact with the floor, the support and holding of the building you're in. Notice if you can sense our Mother Earth beneath, holding each of us. Offering us nourishment, food, housing, clothing, all the way down to this very breath. This breath is keeping us alive. It's a gift from Mother Earth. And let's include in our practice today the people in your life who you deeply care about. And let's include the people who you love. And this is true throughout your life, not just in this moment, but people you've cared about in your lifetime, people you've loved in your lifetime. And let's include the people who care about you, and who have cared about you. And let's welcome the people who love you and those who have loved you. We're practicing for all these people today in addition to ourselves. So bring your awareness to the belly, specifically to a chakra in the chakra systems of the yogic tradition called the hara in the Zen tradition. It's about 2 finger widths below the navel and 2 or 3 finger widths in from the surface of the skin. It's a natural grounding spot, a natural seat in consciousness. Breathe into the hara if possible, letting yourself fully take this important seat. We don't need to suppress thoughts or experiences. Just let them float across the sky like a white cloud on a sunny day. On the next in-breath, invite awareness into the heart area. And by that I mean the chest cavity itself. We're opening to the innate goodness that's already here. If you're a visual meditator, you may be perceiving the innate goodness as a brightness, what appears to be a whiteness. That quality of purity is something that purifies us. It lets us challenge the beliefs that we're not good enough, that we're not enough, that somehow we're broken. The purity purifies those untruths. And the goodness has a kind of buoyancy to it, an effervescent lightness. We feel uplifted when we make contact with innate goodness. Innate goodness also has a quality of love, an unconditioned love that is not dependent. You don't need to be a certain way. You don't need to perform a certain way. No matter how you are, you're always loved. The Absolute is simply loving itself. You may be feeling this love and lightness and purity as a kind of buoyancy, kind of hopeful optimism. Everything is going to work out exactly as it should. You may be feeling the love, the innate goodness, like a white fluffy cloud, soft, supportive, holding you tenderly. As you make contact with innate goodness, just relax into it. Relax any doing and just let yourself be directly with innate goodness. We'll sit silently together for about 10 minutes and then I'll ring the bell.